Hello my friends, and thank you for joining me for this time-lapse review of week 1 of the 30 paintings in 30 days challenge. I actually got it done, a painting every day start to finish for 7 days in a row. Only 23 days to go. All 30 of these paintings are being painted on very nice wood panels, either 6 inches by 6 inches, 5 by 7, or 4 by 6. I painted the side edges so they'll look good either hung by themselves or in a frame. So here you're watching day 1 was a landscape. I have to apologize in advance for jerking the painting around and moving it. I have a bad habit of moving a painting or a canvas when I'm painting on it. And all I can do is ask you to bear with me. It actually gets better by the end of this video, and it's something I'm learning, which is a good thing, through this challenge, is how to leave the painting alone. Anyway, so this was a really fun one for me because I enjoyed the different lighting and the way the clouds and the mountains, the rays of the sun coming through the clouds changes the color, and then the contrast of the tree and the birds as well. I was pretty happy with how this one turned out. It was challenging because normally I would have changed some things, but I had to be finished within a day. So this one took me about 6 hours or so to do, but I really enjoyed it. So day 2 was a reference photo that I got from a Facebook artist page that I belong to, where photographers will come and actually provide royalty-free photographs. I just love the lighting on this one with a really dark background. You'll see I do a couple more of these in the next 30 days. I enjoyed doing the petals, and it was quite a challenge. And I wasn't really thinking that they would be, but the leaves turned out to be much more difficult than I thought they would be. In fact, the first leaf probably took me an hour. The second one took me close to an hour as well. But as is often the case, by the time I got to the third one, I think I knocked that one out in maybe 30 minutes, and then the next one in 10 or 15 minutes, and then so on. So I got better as I went along, and I really am pleased with the way that the leaves and the petals actually turned out, and I like the really low light nature of this particular painting. Day 3 is of a chair, one of our kitchen chairs actually. I was in our kitchen and I just happened to notice this chair was pulled out from the table, and there was a very bright light that's right above it, and it was really interesting to me. I liked the way that the light was shining on the seat of the chair and the top of the back of the chair, but I really liked the interesting shadow that this chair cast. And I really had to work very hard to keep the lines straight. This is much more difficult type of painting for me, is making sure that I get straight lines and the shapes are defined really well. And I was pleased with how it turned out, but I could have continued to work on it for a long time, but I had to stop at the end of the day. So this one probably took me about 5.5 or 6 hours. So day 4 was from a reference photo that I got on a Facebook artist page that I belong to, where photographers will come and actually provide royalty-free photos for artists to be able to use. And I really liked the still water, almost completely still water, and the colors in the boat and the shape of the boat and the reflection was just really cool. I really enjoyed that, but I wanted to make it so that the horizon is all but not defined. So you almost have to imagine that there's an unknown horizon ahead. Not to get too cheesy, but it's kind of fun to just think, okay, I don't really know exactly where the horizon is, and to take off that way. So enjoyed this one and pleased with how it turned out. As you can see, day 5 just happened to turn out to be pretty much the same colors as day 4, which I didn't even think about until I got into this. But anyway, so I really love the contrast of the dark blue sky with the white sand dunes. And the way that this one turned out I was really happy with the sand dunes in the sky, and even the reeds that I paint later. I really struggled. It took me a couple of hours at least just to figure out how to do the ripples in the sand, and I was never really happy with how it turned out. This painting is an example of how doing a painting in a day really was a struggle for me, because I had to leave something that I would normally keep working on until I got it better. But I think it turned out acceptable, but I wasn't real happy with the ripples. Everything else was okay. And but I do love the white with the contrast of the green and the dark blue background. So day 6 was another painting or photograph that I got from a Facebook artist group. And this photographer does a great job of really putting the light on the flower itself. So I love the contrast and the fact that your eye is only going to go to one place, and that's the flower. It was a real challenge to do. I've never done much with flowers like the carnation, this carnation or roses, where there's just lots of petals packed into one place. Most of the flowers that I've done have open petals that are much easier to paint. So this was a real challenge. I learned a lot from it, and it was a really great experience. And overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So then on day 7 is another landscape, and this is a sunrise instead of a sunset. And this is in the desert, and I've actually been in the desert many times for a sunrise, and it's always such an amazing experience to me because it's usually cold, perfectly still, and perfectly quiet, and just such a astonishing thing. I added a few stars in there and a little planet in the yellow portion of it as well, and really am pleased with the way that this turned out. So that concludes week 1 of 30 paintings in 30 days. If you'd like to follow along, I'm posting each day's painting on Instagram or Facebook. You can follow me there. Also, these paintings are for sale. Most of the ones from this past week are already sold, but I'm selling them all for $50 each. So if you see one that you really like, please let me know, either email, Facebook message, or just post in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon.